let the dogs out? Who 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 let the dogs out?
Hey everyone, it's Pup Twigs here from Orlando, Florida, and joining me all the way from Fort Wayne, Indiana is Pup Achilles. How are you?
Hey, Pop, I'm doing well.
Awesome. Well, it seems like that we get to talk a lot on Facebook, and I was so happy that you wanted to be a part of the podcast and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love what you're doing and trying to get the word out for everybody in the pup community. So happy to help.
Yeah, it's really brought me some really cool relationships with pups all over the country, which has been pretty darn awesome.
I bet. Absolutely.
So I always like to start it off to get a little bit of history behind the pup. So I always like to find out, is there any kind of a story behind the choosing of the name Pup Achilles? And also, I noticed that orange seems to be your color. Is there significance to the colors that you have picked for your pup persona?
Yeah, no, that's good questions. Pup Achilles is a given name. It's something that I wanted to match and represent my fetish, and my fetish is the number one partialism fetish in the world, and that is the foot fetish. So
Yes,
I am a foot pup. I love taking care of my master's feet. That's my Achilles heel, shall you say.
there you go.
And yeah, so that was it was a no-brainer for me to for the name Achilles, and it kind of fits the persona that I want to give off.
Okay.
But yeah, orange and black is my colors. If you don't follow me on my social medias yet, I have an orange and black Jeep Gladiator with a orange and black trailer that I carry all my stuff around, and anywhere you go and see me, you'll see orange and black. It's for me. I love the two color combinations. I just it goes well on the eyes, and it
Mhm.
also grabs the attention. So some pups I know are kind of shy and timid. Me, I consider myself a show pup. I like to be seen, and orange and black kind of does that. Every time I go into a an event, a bar, a situation where I'm in my pup gear, I automatically see the heads turning towards my way, and I always enjoy that. So that's kind of my reasoning behind the color. Obviously, the hanky code is, orange is down for everything or down for nothing. And it is depending on what side you wear it on, obviously.
Yeah.
And I definitely kind of fit that mantra as well. As
Awesome.
well.
Well,
Excuse me.
I'm glad it's kind of factored in with the hanky code as well, because sometimes I feel like we've gotten away from those codes, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely love kind of the old guard homage, and I definitely love the new guard as well, kind of ushering in the ideas of colors just being colors, and so it is kind of important to have that discernment that there are some still hanky code colors, and then there's some pups that just like colors just for whatever they want to, and that's
Yeah,
okay either way. So,
agreed, agreed. So let me ask, how long have you now been a pup in the community?
yeah, I got my first pup gear uh, recently after the COVID shutdown.
Okay.
So I'm a fairly new pup in generality, only about 4 years old now. But yeah, I got into the fetish and gear world, um, shortly before COVID happened, and got my first harness around then, and then I guess I can go kind of into some of my story. I guess I not to make a long story short, I was a whistleblower for a federal crime, and I was
Really?
fired for that crime. And that happened right before COVID shut down. And because of the firing, I developed PTSD. And because of the PTSD, the state of Indiana, which is the state I'm in, stepped in and said, "Hey, how can we help you with your PTSD?" And I said, "Well, with the mutual assistance of my therapist at the time, we decided the best route for me was to go into my own business, to be my own boss." And so the state of Indiana was one of the founders and startups for the sign that you see behind me, which is my company Niche. And I am a pup company, a pup active resource in our community. And I do a lot of things for the pup community in whole throughout events throughout the whole year. So to be able to say that I was backed by the state of Indiana is pretty special to me. It was a series of events that I don't wish anybody upon, but it happened, and now I'm sitting before you today doing what I'm doing because of the situation. So, long story short on that, I decided, well, what was missing in Indiana? And I looked at the East Coast and I looked at the West Coast, and I liked all the fetish communities that were there, but there really wasn't anything in the Midwest, at least nothing close to me.
Hmm.
Uh, Chicago was about the closest to us, and nothing against Chicago. I love Chicago, but
Me too.
it's such a busy city and it's such a big city, and it's kind of hard to navigate in and out sometimes. So I looked around and I said, "Hey, I would love to bring more of the pup community into Indiana." And I said, "I could do this," and that's kind of what launched my well, I guess my business. So I decided to do some investigation and went out when everything was shut down. Gas was $2 a gallon. I took my orange and black Gladiator out west and went to pick up my very first gear, which was oh, I'm sorry. Let me grab that real quick. That was one of my air compressors for my laser that I use.
Oh, gee.
So I use a pretty high sophisticated tool that cuts precision stuff for me here, and my compressor was on. I
Oh,
apologize.
that's okay.
Anyway, back to my story. I was on my way out to Mr. S. Leather in San Francisco to pick up my first pup gear. So I got it. I was so excited. I made a 2,700-mile trip from where I was at to San Francisco, and I got there to pick up my hood one of my original orange and black hoods and my harness and everything. And I got there and it was completely shut down. San Francisco and almost all of California was completely shut
Oh,
down.
yes, yes.
And so it was not like Indiana. Here in Indiana, we didn't shut down any businesses as far as the extent that they did for months and months and months.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was kind of interesting for me to go out there and to have somebody open the door and hand my gear out with like a 6 foot scrunchy arm to me And I was like standing there, and I wanted to go into Mr. S Leather and see the big showroom, and I wasn't able to do it. So it was kind of
Oh,
a bittersweet moment. Um, but that was the story, I guess, of the first portion of when I got my pup gear and
oh,
realized,
that is
uh,
really awesome.
yeah, yeah. So it was a fun trip.
So about 4 years as a pup. So in those 4 years, what have you seen that has been the easiest being a pup, and then what has been something that's been more difficult for you being a pup?
Okay, so this is kind of nice. Um, what I found to be the easiest with the pup community is it's their acceptance.
Hmm.
I was a little bit of backstory. I was married to my wife for 14 years. We were together altogether 17 years, and we were high school sweethearts. And it wasn't until after then that I was exposed to the gay community, and that was um, a whole journey for me. And I say journey because it was like, okay, well, am I a cub? Am I a bear? Am I an otter? And I heard all of these different animal words being used. There's even the piggies.
Hmm.
There's, then I found getting into the pup world, there's a whole pet world. You've got your horsies, you've got a little of anything, kitties, cats, whatever you want, dragons. I've seen, anything and everything in the pet community, and that's super cool too. But at the beginning, I was like, well, what am I? I'm not really. I don't. I'm not really a bear. I don't really want to be a bear. I don't identify as a bear. And my parents were pup and dog parents my whole life. We always had dogs growing up. My parents actually owned their own pet land for a while, and we catered to very high specific breeds, high end breeds. So I knew about the Basenjis and the Shar-Peis and some of the exotic breeds, and so from a very young age. So I guess I kind of consider myself as a pup, and the more I looked at it, the more it fit my fetish. Like I said, I'm a foot pup, so
Hmm.
you find pups at the foot of the bed often, and so it kind of just naturally synced with my fetish. And pups like chasing balls, pups like bones. It just kind of worked. And then I looked into the pup flag, and I saw that it had the leather colors, the leather flag colors, the
Yep.
dark blue, the black, the white stripe. And if you look closely, in the pup flag, the white stripe is 1.5 times larger than the leather flag. And that's to signify that in the pup community, we are inclusive of all. You could be a young pup, you could be an old pup, you
Hmm.
could be a male pup, you could be a female pup, you could be a non-binary pup, you could be whatever you identify as. It didn't matter body type. You could be a small Chihuahua. You could
Hmm.
be a very large Saint Bernard, and there's home for every body type in the pup community, which it felt like in other animals that it was very specific to a certain body type or a certain age or a certain whatever.
Hmm.
And the pup community, you could be anything and beyond, as we found with expanding to the whole pet community in general. And so that's what I really enjoy. Um, as far as what I don't enjoy would be Oh, I think just the common general misnomer in society as a whole. Now, this is a microcosm of it, obviously, but and a lot of people feel excluded as a whole from society. But
Mhm.
I even found in the gay community or the not necessarily kink community. The kink community is pretty open and cool with the whole pups in general,
Yeah.
and I found that's pretty cool. But in the gay community, and I think a whole, we still are looked as the freaks, kind of the ones that are a little bit more extreme on some sides, and I don't know. I feel a little ostracized when I present myself in my hood on normal like gay dating sites
Yeah.
like Grindr and Adam for Adam and such. Now you get into like Recon and Scruff and some of the other specialty, Pup Space and things like that where we have an outlet. But Grinder, I would say Adam for Adam in general are kind of standoffish on pups. I have to
Mhm.
I have to be careful of who I expose, handing over my leash to.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so that would be the only downside, really.
Okay.
Otherwise, I felt very open. Again, all body types, all ages, genders. That doesn't matter. The pup community crosses all those boundaries, which
Okay.
is important, I think.
Well, what advice would you give someone that is just now starting to look into wanting to become a pup?
Oh, what advice? I would say that the gear doesn't make the pup. It's truly what's inside that counts. So to kind of expand on that, you see a lot and hear a lot about maybe some, pup play in the
Hmm.
pup community. I said earlier I chose orange and black because I'm kind of a show pup, so I kind of like to be seen. Rarely do you see me involved in the pup play mentality. You rarely will see me on all fours or anything like that. I just say the advice is to do your own thing. You don't have to be in a mosh on all fours yeah, and wagging your tail to be a pup. You can do whatever you feel is right for yourself. If you just want to be seen, sometimes it's nice just to put a hood on and go in public and be seen.
Yep.
If you want to get into a kind of pup mindset, a certain headspace, whether through a multitude of different ways, I guess, that's completely fine as well. It's kind of nice to disconnect and place yourself mentally somewhere else sometimes. I completely get that and understand it. It's not really for me per se, but I understand and enjoy the different arrays of pup play or pup parts of the community, from the ABDL community to the furry community
Hmm.
to regular. This weekend I was in Chicago for MIR, and I saw more rubber pups there than I saw at some of the biggest pup events that I've been to.
Yeah.
So it's super neat to see. You can get leather hoods, you can get neoprene hoods, you can get rubber hoods, you can get whatever you'd like. You don't have to have a hood to be a pup.
Right.
It
Right.
can just be an internal thing and internal feeling. And that's completely cool too, which is what I enjoy about the community. Is
And you
there's
sound
no
more like me because I'm not one that gets into the ball pit or down on my hands and knees. I just rather socialize and be this pup and be seen and get to talk to everybody that's in the room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like that too.
So tell me, I know you go to events everywhere, but do you have any pup events that happen there in Fort Wayne locally?
Yeah, it's been really nice actually. We've got a good community here. I would easily say 40 to 50 pups around, and we just had a small gathering at our local bar after dark here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and this last month actually, and there was probably 20 to 25 pets, I would say. 20 of us probably being pups. And so that was kind of nice. It wasn't overly huge, but a really intimate kind of gathering. We just got done with one of our Indiana leather kink weekends down in Indianapolis about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
And there's a giant community in Indy, in the pup community as well. So we tend to do well with mutual events with them down there. And yeah, I mean, I go to all different events. I think all I've counted with my company niche. I've been to 26 events or so this year already. And I do it all in my pup gear, and everybody knows me as Achilles. And every event, being a Mr. S dealer, PNC Creations, I carry Mr. Bear, I do my own custom pup hoods. I've got quite a few different options, even of rider gears, leather hoods. Every event I put out 2 to 5 new pups every event. So it was a growing community, and there's more and more events that goes on in the Midwest that is pup oriented or inclusive, and I'm seeing more and more every month or so pop up in Ohio and Michigan. Indiana's been doing really well. Illinois, obviously.
Good.
So yes, it's been good for us in this area.
Awesome. And I love that. I mean, anybody that has a business that caters to that, more power to you. I hope it becomes extremely successful for you, and everything. But this
Yeah.
this question that I've got, uh, I don't know. My first season, I didn't ask it. I did something different, but this one has just been a question that I just like asking people, period. And it's,
Sure.
if you could go out and meet anybody, it could be whoever you want it to be. It could be someone that's still alive, someone that's no longer here, a movie star, singer, politician, anybody. Who would you want to actually go and sit down and talk with?
Yeah. I That's a good question. I have honestly, I've met the person you are referring to. One of my all-time oh someone I have great respect for is
Mhm.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I had the opportunity to meet Neil at a omnibus lecture event. I'm one of the I'm one of the science geeks, space nerds. So to have an astrophysicist in my presence, to his statures, was amazing. I got to uh, uh, I had my wife with me at the time, and we were doing we were in one of his lectures, and at the beginning of the lecture they have opportunity for you to buy books and so forth. And I knew after the lecture they were doing a book signing. So during the Q&A of the lecture, I had my wife, she offered to go out and stand in line for the book signing event. And luckily for me, I got a chance to listen to the Q&A and then sneak right out. And she was the sixth or seventh person in line for the book signing. And I get up there. I was in the news for being the second in line for tickets because we waited 16 hours for tickets to go. They were free tickets available to the community, so I knew they would go fast. I wanted to see Neil, so I got there at like 5 o'clock in the morning to get tickets for this event. And so I'm nervous. I'm getting up there, and I tell Neil about this. I was the second in line. I'm one of your biggest fans. I'd love to see you. Would you mind if I take a picture with you? And he said, no, not a problem. And we were standing in front of like a 3 foot, a very long table where he was signing the books, and this table was very long. And then next to the table were these little guardrails that were just partition rails. And so immediately I took advantage of it. I had my wife ready with the camera, and I moved the guardrails around to the side, and I snuck around, and I put my arm around Neil, and I got a couple good pictures of me right before the security guard grabs me by the shoulder and said, "Sir, you've got to be behind this line here." And so I ruined it for anybody else behind me, but I snuck around and I got a picture with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and that was one of I was walking, walking on water. It was a great feeling. So
That's a amazing story.
yes, yeah. So I've got a picture at my house with me and Neil with my arm around him and him signing my book.
Oh,
So
nice.
it was a surreal moment.
So if other pups wanted to get in touch with you, um, I'm assuming you're probably on about every social media like me. How would they get in touch with you?
Yeah. Not every social media. I'm an ADD pup, so I kind of keep it narrowed. I'm
Okay.
just on Facebook and Instagram. You can see my banner right behind me goes to my website
Okay.
at www.niche-wear.com. That's the best way to reach me there, or my Facebook page. I'm very active on my Facebook page, and that is niche dash wear on there as well. And then my Instagram is niche wear and then IN because we're in the state of Indiana. And I'm the only one in the state of Indiana doing what I do. I'm a leather crafter. I'm a custom leather crafter. I just got done doing a leather wedding dress. I do corsets, top hats, restraints, harnesses, formal wear, uh, floggers, paddles, you name it. I do it all. And there's very few projects that I've really turned down. So if anybody is interested, I'm always doing something new and trying to keep up on it on my Facebook and Instagram pages.
Awesome. Well, it's been awesome getting to sit down and talk with you other than through a Facebook chat like we've done for quite a while now.
Absolutely.
But I want to give you the last word. Anything you want to share before we get off of here?
Yeah, I just want to say hi to all the puppers out there. Know that I see you, and I am trying my best to get the visibility for our community that we can in a good, nice, positive light. I appreciate each and every one of you and all of your support. I couldn't have done it without the community being so supportive. I've only been in business now for 2.5 years. Being a pup run business, it's been life changing for me to get to meet the people that I've met through this community.
Mhm.
And if you're at all hesitant, feel free to reach out. Happy to go over and discuss any concerns you have. but there's really nothing to fear. It's a great community. I've been very, very impressed with how a majority of us take regard for the community, and it's
Awesome.
important. So,
Well, it's been awesome for me. I appreciate you cutting out the time for us to do this.
sure.
And I know it's not going to be the last time you and I talk.
Absolutely, Pup. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the spotlight. So, thanks so
Awesome.
much.
Well, you take care and I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. We'll see you later.